This is Nurse of Death, the Lucy Letby story, a gripping true crime podcast that takes you deep into the chilling tale of allegations against Lucy Letby, a seemingly caring and dedicated nurse who harbored a dark secret. Join us as we unravel the twisted journey of a medical professional whose actions sent shockwaves throughout the healthcare community. It's the story of a nurse who went from saving lives to becoming the harbinger of death. This is Nurse of Death, the Lucy Letby story. In an intense courtroom setting on Monday, barrister Ben Myers KC, representing 33-year-old neonatal nurse Lucy Letby, presented a vigorous defense to the jury consisting of 8 women and 4 men. Letby stands accused of 7 counts of murder and 10 attempted murders in the neonatal unit of the Countess of Chester Hospital from June 2015 to June 2016. Myers posited that the prosecution's case was fueled and riddled by the presumption of guilt, urging the jury to base their judgments on the bedrock of our justice system, the presumption of innocence. Describing the allegations against his client as the hardest to imagine due to their disturbing nature, Myers called upon the jurors to guard against the influence of sympathy and the human desire to attribute blame. He argued against the portrayal of Letby as manipulative and calculated, saying that it is an image constructed to serve the prosecution's narrative. Myers depicted his client as a 25-year-old Band 5 nurse at the time of the alleged incidents, dedicated to her role, but nonetheless a typical nurse caring for countless infants, not just the 17 under scrutiny in the trial. Acknowledging the pressure Letby was under during her cross-examination, Myers argued that the prosecution's portrayal of Letby as a mastermind with an infallible memory contradicts reality. The 25-year-old nurse was merely trying to defend herself under distressing circumstances. He argued that the prosecution's portrayal of Letby was purposefully distorted to compensate for the lack of substantial evidence against her. Myers also stressed the point that despite the mounting suspicion against Letby from several doctors over the course of almost a year, there remains no direct evidence of her committing any of the alleged harmful acts. Referencing Letby's normal text exchanges over the period, he argued that the prosecution had twisted innocent messages to fit their presumption of guilt narrative. The defense barrister also refuted the prosecution's alleged attempts to ridicule and humiliate his client by bringing up unrelated personal information in front of the public, including her parents. He highlighted these as attempts to paint an unfounded and damaging picture of Letby that was not supported by factual evidence. In a daring move, Myers challenged the credibility of the prosecution's main expert witness, pediatrician Dewey Evans, branding him as an expert at being an expert, and arguing that he had not practiced in pediatrics for 13 years. Myers presented the claim that Dr. Evans was inherently biased and accused him of being more interested in formulating theories that backed the prosecution's case than presenting evidence that adhered to the facts. In an impassioned address to the jury, Myers refuted the prosecution's attempts to use every circumstance to imply guilt on Letby's part. The nature of her responses, whether she showed emotion or not, her location at the time of incidents, all had been skewed as evidence of guilt by the prosecution. Myers made it emphatically clear that despite the countless allegations leveled against her, no one had seen Letby committing even a single act that could be construed as harmful. Finally, Myers presented the jury with an alternative explanation for the tragic events in the neonatal unit between 2015 and 2016. Rather than attributing them to Letby, he suggested that they could be the result of infants' pre-existing conditions, combined with an overworked neonatal unit struggling with too many high-care babies and inadequate staffing. Myers accused a gang of 4 senior consultants of piling blame on Letby to deflect from their own shortcomings. The defense reiterated that Letby vehemently denies all allegations, and the trial continues. This is Nurse of Death, the Lucy Letby story, a gripping true crime podcast that takes you deep into the chilling tale of allegations against Lucy Letby, a seemingly caring and dedicated nurse who harbored a dark secret. Join us as we unravel the twisted journey of a medical professional whose actions sent shockwaves throughout the healthcare community. It's the story of a nurse who went from saving lives to becoming the harbinger of death. This is Nurse of Death, the Lucy Letby story.